this guy, Netanyahu, assassinate this guy, Charlie Kirk? We'll talk about that, and actually I'll be sharing with you some reports, some interesting facts, so that you can see for yourself what was happening. Now I want to start with this particular video from Jimmy Dore show. Take a listen what they are saying here, and then I will add some commentary from Charlie Kirk himself in regards to what Israel was doing in the Middle East.
The internet rumors that somehow Israel is behind the Charlie Kirk murder, and I don't believe it for 1 second, but I want you to make a statement. It's so absurd.
That's insane. That's insane.
Even the fact that this reporter asked Netanyahu that question, that Israel is somehow responsible, people are saying that in of itself is very problematic for the Zionist state, because every single time there is an event, there is a killing, there is a war, now the Americans, instead of pointing fingers to their own government or to Islamic terrorism, they are now pointing their fingers directly at Israel.
Israel also changes the orbit of the moon. Israel pushes the sun. I mean, the whole thing is.
Who said
it's
that?
Not only insane. I think it's so absurd, so stupid, and so ridiculous. You can't believe that people are saying that. They just found the perpetrator.
No, it is not absurd. None of those. People have the right to their own opinion, and Charlie Kirk, after his assassination, he deserves justice. He deserves that we find out the real killer of Charlie Kirk. Now, I want to play this particular clip to show you guys really how terrified Israel was of Charlie Kirk.
So we're on Team Civilization here. We want to see the maniacs of Hamas be defeated. So we've seen news this morning that, quite honestly, I'm a little confused by, and I was hoping you could navigate it and help us understand, which is that Israel bombed Qatar, which houses a lot of Hamas officials. What happened here? And if I were to introduce just the skeptical question, will this potentially endanger America's own interests in the Middle East? So please, Ben, help me better understand the situation.
Those kind of questions, they are not taken pleasantly by the Zionist state of Israel. So again, Charlie Kirk, his views were changing, and he was asking real question that was very important.
Suppose that is a question that I get a lot on campus. What does success look like? Because I think we could all agree a long war is not good for Israel, a long, drawn-out war, and we're coming towards 2 years in about a month, so it's been about 23 months. So what does ultimate success look like in the Gaza Strip?
A long war is what Israel has aimed for, Netanyahu's government. So if you don't agree with long war, you are actually an anti-Semite. But let's take a listen at the next question from Charlie Kirk.
What other feedback or criticism would you have about this situation? I know that it's impossible for anyone to listen to everything that you ever say, but looking at this from an American perspective, what else would you say things could have been handled differently? Maybe on the PR front, maybe also just on a conduct front. Where would you say, as an outsider, things that could have been handled better, more efficiently, or with more precision?
You don't ask that kind of question to Zionists, because they're the best. They're the God's chosen people. You don't ask them, oh, your strategy looks like failed, so what better way we can do this?
A claim I receive often, and we're starting our campus tour tomorrow, is that Israel is committing genocide. How do you respond to that then?
Yeah, even though using the word genocide, the G word, is something that makes the Zionists very uncomfortable, makes them freak out, makes them lose themselves, because narcissists, they do not want to hear the truth. But here you have Charlie Kirk, who devoted all his life to serve the Zionists, all of a sudden asking questions that are not very comfortable at all.
Ben Shapiro, author of Lions and Scavengers. We're going to get to that in a second. I have one or two other questions on Israel. I think it's very important for our audience to hear this, though, because there is an incessant campaign. And one thing a friend said to me, interestingly, which is, okay, Charlie, we push back against the media on COVID, on lockdowns, on Ukraine, on the border, so like maybe we should also ask a question. Is the media totally presenting the truth when it comes to Israel? Just a question, that maybe we shouldn't believe everything the media says, because I know I've been conditioned to ask a lot more critical questions over the last couple of years. So, Ben, some people would accuse Israel of wanting to ethnically cleanse. Some people in the Israeli government are saying, again, it's all over the place, right? You have opinions all over. In your opinion, what would a good outcome 5 years from now be, and how does one respond to the claims of ethnic cleansing?
Again, ethnic cleansing? Are you kidding me? Like, Israel is going nuts about this kind of questions at the moment. Oh my God, what? Charlie, what happened to you? Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you going to expose us for all our lies and genocide and murder and slaughter of innocent women and children? Charlie, come on.
We're running out of time here, but just last question on this, Ben. I know this might be a tougher question, but Bibi said, quote, I didn't like he said this, I'll be honest. You can't be MAGA if you're anti-Israel. I don't like it for a couple of reasons. How did you analyze that statement from Bibi?
Okay, so, I mean, this is insane.
And it is totally fine to say to people who wish to destroy our civilization, no, your values suck and they don't belong here.
Where does all this resentment come from?
Yeah, I mean, Ben Shapiro, if you want to save your life, stick to all the lies you are spitting out, because if you change your path, you'll be next. Let's take a listen to what Charlie Kirk, what else he's saying here. Very, very interesting.
We put them in power. We displaced the Shah. We displaced the democratically elected leader Mossadegh and put in the Shah, which then, of course, led to the Ayatollahs of Iran. And then finally, is a nuclear weapon against Iran a threat to America? Probably. Could be. It's a threat to Israel, but is it a threat to America? I mean, India has nuclear weapons. Pakistan has nuclear weapons. So is it worth a potential another war with Iran? And the people that are, let's just say, advocates for preventing Iran from getting a nuclear weapon by all means necessary, they're the same architects that were perfectly fine with the Iraq War, the same designers of the Iraq War. The primary way Iran can hurt this country is by sucking us into another Middle East quagmire, and they know it. And wow. Iran would have the potential to be the worst Middle East quagmire of all time. Iran has 90 million people. That's more than 3 times as big as Iraq was when we invaded 22 years ago.
Now, this is when Donald Trump literally barked at Charlie Kirk when he talked to Donald Trump about going to war with Iran, bombing their nuclear sites. And you can see clearly all of these questions. The Zionists, they don't take it lightly, coming from Charlie Kirk, because the Zionists want to sell war to the American Congress, to the American politicians, especially to Donald Trump. And here you have a guy, Charlie Kirk, saying to Donald Trump, because he is Donald Trump's close friend, and these words, these warning shots, will get to his ear because he's too close. Charlie Kirk was very, very close to Donald Trump. And when he would be asked this question by his inner circle, I'm talking about Donald Trump and Charlie Kirk, then you can imagine at one point his own base will rise up against him, and Donald Trump, even the US president, might hesitate to help Israel the way they are doing right now. Not sitting well with the Zionists at all. But Charlie Kirk, man, he was changing very, very fast.
It's larger than both Afghanistan and Iraq combined, both in population and in area. Iraq was at least mostly a flat country. It's a bunch of cities along a couple rivers, the Tigris and the Euphrates. Iran isn't like that. It's almost all mountains. Iran has spent decades preparing specifically for war with the United States. Their military has lots of weapons designed for fighting a much stronger adversary. They have a lot of drones, a lot of speedboats, a lot of cheap, expendable weapons. They're far more formidable than Iraq or the Taliban were. And I seriously want your thoughts. Email me, freedom@charliekirk.com. Would you?
So basically, he is questioning United States government's decision to go to war with Iran. Unbelievable. You don't do that. You don't do that, Charlie. because they are going to come after you and they're going to take your life. Do you know who else is going against Israel? Well, take a look at this particular Prime Minister of Italy. She said that Italy will arrest Netanyahu if he enters the country. Unbelievable. Italy, over the last few days, Meloni is changing her position against Israel so much that it is noticeable. We have also seen Meloni, the Prime Minister of Italy, saying that the flotilla, the Samud flotilla, will be protected by Italy. I do not know if she meant militarily or what else, but she said Italian people, they're very, very passionate, and the flotilla and the Iranians, not the flotilla, sorry, the Italians will be protected by Italy. The Italians will be protected by Italy. That's she said. That's what she said. Her government will do so. Now, let's go back to Charlie Kirk for a second. Here you have a picture, and you can see what Fox News is talking about. New York Times, issues apology on the claim that Charlie Kirk made anti-Semitic statement coming on Fox News. He made anti-Semitic statement, and New York Times reported, and then New York Times was like, oh, if we do that, we'll be in big trouble by the Zionists, so let's issue an apology. But at the end of the day, all of this, even this mainstream media, they are seeing that people want to know the truth, not their BS. And so they're changing their statement, their narrative in regards to Charlie Kirk. Sometimes he's good guy, sometimes he's bad guy for the Zionist entity. Take a listen a little bit more.
Guest host Misty Winston. Apologies for not being Jimmy Dore. We are going to move on now to talk about an article that just came out in the Gray Zone by Max Blumenthal and Anya Parampil, who are fantastic. And this is that Charlie Kirk refused Netanyahu funding offer and was frightened by pro-Israel forces before death, friend reveals. Now, you can think whatever you want to think about whether or not Israel's responsible for this or they're not, but I do think that what is very telling about what's happening right now is that they have very clearly lost control over the narrative and over their image, and immediately people are willing to question them on this. And I think that that's at least something good, is that now
you're right 9 times out of 10, probably 10 times out of 10,
right?
Blaming Israel.
Wow.
Did Israel do it? Probably yes. Yeah.
They just shown there's literally no rule that they obey.
No, that
I mean, like,
yeah.
Oh, is North Korea a rogue nation?
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, they're really out of control. So a Trump insider and longtime friend of Charlie Kirk tells the Gray Zone how the assassinated conservative leader's turning point on Israel influence provoked a private backlash from Netanyahu's allies that left him angry and afraid. The source said anxiety spread within the Trump administration after an apparent Israeli spying operation was uncovered. Charlie Kirk rejected an offer earlier this year from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to arrange a massive new infusion of Zionist money into his Turning Point USA organization, America's largest conservative youth association, according to a longtime friend of the slain commentator speaking on the condition of anonymity. The source told the Gray Zone that the late pro-Trump influencer believed Netanyahu was trying to cow him into silence as he began to publicly question Israel's overwhelming influence in Washington and demanded more space to criticize it.
Wow.
In the week,
Can you be more clear than this? That Netanyahu ordered the hit. Israel was involved in this. I don't know what else to say, but it is very, very clear, very, very explicit that Israel has a lot to do with his assassination. But guys, unbelievable stuff happening. Some comments here. Brother Jamal, uncanny. Thank you guys for joining this session. I'll see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day.